I'm in the process of making a wristlet bag and I wanted to show you how to make the most perfect straps. If you don't have a binder like this, it's time to invest in one. It really makes life a lot easier. So what you're going to do is insert it into the binder. This is a 2-inch binder. And I like to label all my binders with the unfinished and finished size. And then when you put that through the end, you're going to start to pull it down the length. And as you're pulling it down the length, you're going to be ironing it. When you're ironing it, after you're done, you're going to clap it with this clapper. And that locks in the steam and gets a really nice crease. Now, when you go to put it together, it's going to be just perfect. You're going to love the results every time. And then you're going to go ahead and sew it. You're going to sew right on that edge, and then you're going to mirror that stitch on the other side. And then you'll be ready to move on to the next stage of assembly. Straps of any kind, what I like to do is I like to take my sewing gauge here. I'll show you. Looks like this. And it's magnetic, and I just plop it down wherever I need to, as long as it doesn't hit my sewing foot. And I like to get right on the edge because I don't like these edges flapping. If you sew too far in, then they'll flap a little bit. So I like to get right up on the edge. And then what I do is I mirror that on the folded side. So I'll show you how quick you can go when you have that gauge in place. So just take a few stitches. I'm gonna set that stitch length. And then what I do is I just use my fingers and I just let the feed dogs feed it through. And there you have it. It's nice and close. And then what I'll do is I'll just mirror that on the other side. Okay, I'm ready to put the lobster clasp on. This is super easy. So cut your wristlet to size. I cut mine to 7 and I end up with a 6-inch. So put the clasp on so that the lobster part is on the inside. I know it seems counterintuitive, right? But you'll see. Sew the ends together. Use your 1/2 inch or your 1/4 inch seam allowance, whatever you're using. And once that's done, you're going to flip that so the lobster clasp is on the outside. And then push those seam allowances together. And you can go ahead and sew here if you want. Now the lobster clasp is hiding the seams. Or you can do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to push that down about a 1/2 inch to 3/4, and I'm going to cover that with some vinyl that I have prepared. So here I am. I'm going to wrap this seam with some vinyl that I had pre-cut, 3 1/4 inches wide and 2 inches long, and I'm going to wrap that around. Make sure you get this part nice and tight. And you don't need to use vinyl. You can use the same as the wristlet, same fabric. As a matter of fact, make the wristlet a little longer and then reserve a piece for doing this. I just want to match it to my bag, so I'm using vinyl. And then it takes a little fiddling to get it tight, and it is very bulky, so pay attention to the bulk. And when you go to sew this, you're going to have to use a nice heavy jeans needle to get through all of that. And it could get a little sticky, so be aware of that as well. And here's the final wristlet completed.